Hello everyone and welcome back to my sewing room. If you're new, my name's Diane and I like to share with you the stories of the quilts that I make and other things that are related to quilt making. If you saw the early editions of the video that I put out last week, you'll see that we had a visit from the AI bots. Oh, it was hilarious. If you'd have seen the first video, I uploaded it in my usual manner, did everything that I do every week, exactly the same. And then when it played on YouTube, I was auto-dubbed with, I'm not going to call it an American accent, it's an AI American accent. Somebody called it Twanglish. It was very peculiar. So I know that spoilt a lot of people's experience of sharing the video. And so when I saw it, I took it down quickly and I uploaded it again. Now in the YouTube studio that I have, when I played the video through that, it was fine. So I thought, okay, I'll upload it again. Put it on again and took the dog for a walk, my son's dog, on a lovely autumnal morning. Came back and thought that if anyone had commented I would reply, and it was the same thing again. So weird. So I'm not a technophobe, but technology moves so fast, doesn't it? So you just need to know what you need to know to use it for the things you want to use it for. And well, that's my opinion. I'm not someone that wants to just learn every new event that happens in technology. And so I had to do a little bit of techno learning and found out how to remove auto dubbing. She says quite confidently, but with everything crossed. So hopefully this comes out okay. Secondly, as you may hear, carrying a bit of a cold. First one of the autumn winter. So first of a few I expect. Feel okay, just sounded a little bit off. There was a day that I didn't feel okay. Some people comfort eat when they feel a little bit poorly. I did some comfort shopping for fabric. Not that we need an excuse. It was a bargain. We have a dead stock company here in the UK called Rainbow Fabrics. It is available worldwide, and I'm subscribed to their newsletter, and they sent me, just on the day that I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself, a letter that they had some sales on, and it's $4.99 a metre for beautiful fabric, and there was some Christmas fabric there, and I'd just been thinking that I might like to make a Christmas quilt. As if you'd have seen the earlier video of the winter village quilt, I tried to stay away from a sort of Christmas theme, and but I still feel I'd like to make a Christmas quilt, and so they had some beautiful fabric on sale, so I'll share that with you at the end. And so I finished the flimsy of the gift that I'm making for Christmas for somebody within my family. I can't share that with you yet, obviously, until after Christmas, but it turned out bigger than I thought it would. I hadn't planned it really. I just was putting the blocks on the wall. I knew sort of the design I wanted. It was dictated by the fabric. I wanted to keep as much as the design in the fabric that I could, because there's a motif in there that repeats that I wanted to save. And so I knew I wanted quite big blocks. It came together quickly and I just made it, and then I ironed it, pressed it all, and like I say, it's a little bit bigger than I intended. I think it's 73 inches or so. And so I will need to piece the back. I've bought the backing. The backing is very weird and wonderful, and it's personal to the person. So I will share that with you, like I say, after Christmas. So I've put all that away, waiting for the batting to arrive. And so I thought I'll have a tidy around my sewing room. It's not a very big room, as you can see, and And I thought, well, it's getting a bit chillier, so I'll move my table so I'm a bit closer to the radiator. So a good little tidy up. And while I was tidying, I thought I'll make a Project Linus quilt while I'm waiting for this Christmas fabric to arrive and the batting. Whichever comes first, I will start first. And so as you can see on the wall behind me, it's a scrappy little quilt. So in my stash of Project Linus fabric, I've been saving some 2.5-inch strips or squares, and I'd had a few blocks that I'd already made, and so I thought, well, I'll just put them up on the design wall, see what there is, and if there's enough for a quilt or how far off a quilt I am. The quilts for our Project Linus, the smallest they like is 36 inches square. This one finishes at 40 inches square, so it's a nice size sort of lap quilt, I would say. And so I put the blocks on the wall and then I played around with the design. So as you can see, there wasn't enough blocks. And so what I decided to do then was to have a look at the strips of fabric that I had and put those together in blocks that I could to sort of fill the space out. And there wasn't very many strips actually. I thought I had more, but I didn't. I had more 2.5-inch squares, and so I put the blocks together in the way that, you know, I thought looked appealing. And then I thought, well, I need it to be bigger still, and so I thought I will just put random blocks together, and I would put 2.5-inch squares in strips of 3, and I would just put sashing around those blocks that I had. And so I'll show you how that came together. So all that time I spent trying to get the original square within square blocks together to form some sort of cohesive pattern were completely lost when I put all the little squares around. It's very bright. Some of these quilts for our Project Linus go into the special needs schools in our local area where the children, you know, are quite rough with them. And so I think they might find that appealing if it's on the floor looking at those bright colours. I mean, some of these children have difficulty walking and things. So I think if a child is playing on the floor with this block of quilts, they might quite enjoy that. And so I had some batting left over, small pieces. I do tend to save all the pieces of batting from other projects, and then I just zigzag those together, and then I make them the batting for the Project Linus quilt. So I backed it in this very bright orange, and it's a self-binding. And so that's the story of this little quilt, scrappy 2.5-inch strips and blocks. Actually, it was a nice colour study because I'm looking at it now, and some of the colours do work in a surprising way when you put an improv quilt together. And so I've got all of that sort of cataloguing in my mind for future quilts. So I do have some 2.5-inch blocks left over in my Project Linus stash. I think I'm going to start putting them together in little 4 patches and save those. I've tried to reorganise this year the way I save my small pieces of fabric. So when I finish the flimsy of the top that I'm making for this gift, I had some small pieces of fabric left over, and I'm still in the figuring out process of what sort of blocks I want to make with the smaller pieces that I've left over. I don't want to just save small pieces, so I thought if I make smaller blocks, they could go together in a quilt as I collect enough. So I'm making these little ones. I like those. I think that'll make a nice quilt on point. And so they're sort of bluey green, the tops, and pinky reddy ones. So I'm making those, and I'm also making little squares within squares. They're all trimmed to 3 inches. I think these will make a nice quilt. I'm looking forward to making those. I did make some little 3" 9 patches, and I used that in the Green Wonder, which is a quilt that I've made recently. And I'm also working on, this one is a little sort of Irish chain, and those are made with tiny little squares. So that's quite a slow process. I'm going to make this one for Project Linus. And to be honest with you, I have decided that I'm going to put a centerpiece in that and put some little blocks on the outside. I'll share that with you soon, hopefully before Christmas. I want to get that one finished before Christmas. So 2.5 inch strip. I never really bought them, and then I bought this one over a year ago. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I keep on changing my mind. Suddenly I have a great idea of what I'm going to make this rainbow roll into, and then I change my mind again. Probably cut it in half and make log cabins. They're my favourite. Always have been, probably always will be. So now I'd like to share with you the haul of the Christmas fabric that I bought. The last piece is a Christmas fabric, but I just couldn't resist it. It's absolutely beautiful, the orange. If you watch me for any time, you know that orange is my favourite colour, orange and green, and I'm always drawn to them. So I bought this one, but it won't go in a Christmas quilt, that one. So I will show you that, and where possible, I have included the salvages. So and that's it for this week. Thank you very much for your company if you're still with me. I do have a little bit more of the Christmas fabric in my Christmas stash. I call it a stash. It's not a stash, it's a tiny little box. There's some little blocks in there that I've made from leftover Christmas quilts in the past. That's not enough to make a quilt yet. There's some log cabins in there and bits of fabric. So when I start making the Christmas quilt, I'll show you all of my Christmas fabrics, and I'll show you how I decided to put those together to make a Christmas quilt. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, I hope you're seeing some of these wonderful northern lights, the Aurora Borealis. I watched Stephen Burns. He's a man who's very keen on all things space and earth related and how we're connected to everything. Fascinating. I often have that on while I'm sewing, and lots of people have been hit by these solar waves, the sun is flaring at the moment, and so some people that are sensitive are feeling the effects of that. That's probably what's brought this cold on, I'm convinced it is. But it coincides beautifully with the time. But yeah, so if you're troubled, you might be having some power outage by that. So we're all connected in one way or another, not just through our quilts. So enjoy your quilting, and I will see you again next week, hopefully. And I'll show you the progress of the, hopefully, Christmas quilt that I start. All right then, see you again soon. Bye.